We might be back. Oh, finally. Finally. All right. All right. So I know what I need to do. Okay. Now that I've verified that I am indeed back, this should be a little bit better now. So what I want to do is I want to go through and kind of change the position of the this hand and the sword and things like that. So let's go ahead. Let's do this T-pose mesh. Let's get this. I need to take that sword and kind of move it forward and angle it down a little bit more. Okay. Big part of what I need to do. I'm just going to kind of hide the hair real quick. I'll hide the halo as well. Okay. In fact, I don't need this or this, but I do need a whole bunch of these other things. Let me see, let's get rid of that. Let's go ahead and say Control Shift S to bring that down. We'll go ahead and we'll grab these little bits of the hand. Let's say Control A here. Hide things we don't need. In fact, let's do it like this. We'll take this. Yeah, let's go ahead. We'll come over here like this. We'll get rid of the fingers first. Oops. You know what? It's funny, I keep going in circles here. I keep trying to figure out what it is that I'm trying to accomplish, and it's not. My brain is kind of going backwards. So I'm just going to go forward with this, because I don't want to accidentally mask something the way I don't want it to be masked. Okay, let's go ahead and unmask that, bring everything back. Just like we did before, we'll get rid of these armor pieces that we don't need to see at the moment. Get rid of that. We'll go ahead and we'll grab the sword. You know what? Let's not grab the sword yet. We will take the elbow. Oops. Let's hide this little guy here. Take that elbow and kind of bend it out. So we'll grab this. Let's do it like this though. Do this one more time. Now we're starting to get better results with this. I'm trying to keep an eye on chat, but it keeps logging me out, so hopefully nobody's said anything in the last few minutes. Yeah, it's still not letting me log in. Try it again here in just a moment. In fact, I'll just close the restream chat and try reopening it, because sometimes turning it off and turning it back on actually works. There we go. There we go. Just kind of pull that in a little bit. Pull this down a little bit, but I also want to make sure that I'm getting that arm. I'll have to do that separately. And I'll have to fudge this too, just a little bit. I'm trying to be careful not to, but this is going to be one of those pieces that I have to. Let's go ahead. We're going to work out this this other arm here. I need that sword to come down quite a bit more. It's just creating too much of opposing conflict with the waist. The thing that I want to be careful of is that I want to make sure that I'm not ruining my chances for having the pose work out the way that I want it to. One of the things that one of the things that I really like about how the pose is at this moment is that it really allows me to keep kind of more of a vertical sort of directionality to the pose, and I feel like that feels very regal and royal and things like that. And so I'm trying to kind of keep that in mind. By pulling it out, it feels a little bit more aggressive and less defensive, and I kind of wanted the defensive confident sort of feel rather than the aggressive I'm about to attack sort of feel. So there's a lot to think about, but okay, let's go ahead and let's take this. Let's get it a little bit of a let's get a better mask than that. Is that a good mask, or did it yeah, I messed it up. Here's what we're gonna do. Just trying to go through and make sure that it's nice and round. It's like I'm going through and thinking out these, I'm being very intentional with my thoughts. Mask out these pieces here. Okay, let me see. Okay, that should be good for what I need, because I need to be able to pose the sword and that arm. So let's go ahead and let's try this. Now one of the things I can do is go ahead and reverse this, and then we'll just soften out that mask just a little bit. I'm going to take this arm and I'm going to rotate it some, like this, because that should hopefully help keep that that vertical sort of look a little bit more than what was going to be happening because of the yeah, I kind of want to see how much more I can kind of recuperate that vertical sort of nature. Okay, that's much better. Yeah, that's much better. That's better. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're getting this to work, and it's working. Alright, let's see. Let's get this going now. Will Star Mojo. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it's meant to feel very regal and like strong and protective and confident. Yeah, it's supposed to be kind of along those lines. Let's go ahead. I'm going to do something like this. Okay, let's see where we at. Let's hide that. Let's go ahead and do something like that. We'll grab that. Oh, here, let's do this actually. Let's go ahead. We'll grab everything except for this sword. Oops. Control A. Just to be able to mask everything and make sure everything is masked the way that I need it. So let's see, let's grab this. The thing that I want to do, I do kind of want to take this. It feels a little less natural than I'd like through here. So I'm going to take this sword and this wrist and just kind of rotate it just a little bit. Just rotate it some so that it feels like it's kind of coming out a little bit more. That feels good. You see. is hitting a little bit with that. With the breastplate, so let's just kind of move it away just slightly so it doesn't feel like it's quite, you know, penetrating. That's kind of weird. Okay, that feels better. That feels better. That feels so much better. Okay, let's go ahead. We will take. I'll pose that hand outside of Transpose Master, but I think what I would like to do is grab each leg. There we go. Oops. Let's go ahead and turn off perspective. And then I'm trying to be careful to make sure that I'm only masking. Oh, turn off the symmetry, please. I'm trying to be careful to only mask the one half. Because what I want to do, take this. Okay, good. Looks like we got a pretty good mask out of it. Okay, let's go ahead and say, move this kind of over and down. Just kind of take this and move this forward a little bit. And I'm just trying to make sure that this feels like it's got a good form. It feels like I'm losing some of the curve right here, and I want to make sure that stays pretty fluid, you know? Getting a good round thigh shape through here helps her to feel a little bit more like she's got some muscle there. Something like that. Okay. Yeah, keeping things low poly is super important. Now, I mean, this is something that's, you know, obviously it's in Transpose Master, so it's actually down at its lowest resolution. As I go back and take it back into the regular scene, you'll see it's much smoother, it's much more high resolution. So but you know, the fact that we do have the low resolution topology, that makes things so much easier to pose and so much easier to work with and edit and all that. So yeah, I'm glad you feel validated. It's an important and powerful principle, is working with that low resolution topology that I feel like a lot of people either ignore or don't care about. Ooh, I just had an idea for the eyes. Okay. Take these. I know it looks funny, but it should hopefully look a lot less funny here in a minute. Oh, I haven't loaded my what's it called, my views at all yet. Now that's kind of interesting. Let me try another pose here real quick. Let's go ahead and pose that. Oops. What happened? Let's go ahead and pose that. Looks a little bit too, there we go, it looks a little bit better, but it feels a little bit less powerful. Let me see. Yeah, I don't like that one really. Yeah, I don't know that I like that one as much. Got another idea. All right, let's keep this kind of where it's located. And I don't like that one. I'll say that right now. I definitely don't like this one. So we'll move that to last place. And then I kind of like this one. I feel like I like this one a little bit. I think I like this one the best. It feels the most like she's engaged with me as a viewer. This one right here feels combative. This one feels like there's like some force descending upon her and she's trying to kind of maintain her cool or whatever before stay collected before the enemy gets to her. This one just doesn't make sense at all. Let's just delete this one. Okay. That one just doesn't have the right feel to it. I feel like this one tells more story, but this one feels more like I can connect with her. So I think I'm gonna leave that one. You guys can let me know if you think differently. no idea exactly what I'll do with the back because I'm trying different things as in fact, I have no idea why that's like that. Let's see. That way that's nice and symmetrical. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with the back, and I may not even do the back. I'll probably just focus on areas that we'll actually see, and I'm trying to decide. One of the things that I've really actually quite enjoyed seeing as I've watched other pieces come in for the competition is I've really enjoyed seeing kind of like that Romanesque like leather flap skirts down underneath, and I think that that's super cool. In fact, there were a few pieces that were really neat that that I've seen so far. This looks like a diaper, so that's really kind of less appealing. In fact, I'm going to spread it out here in the back so that it's less diaper-like. Smooth that out a little bit. And I need to make sure to save too. My buddy Quentin isn't here to help me remember to save, so so I gotta remind myself. Okay, I don't know. I mean, I've never worn like metal underwear, so I don't know how effective they would be or what shape they would need to be in order to be effective. I'll do something like that so that it feels like it's at least a little bit protective, and kind of smooth that down because that feels a little bit too bulky. There we go. That's feeling a little bit nicer. Gonna change how that's lining up here. How's everything in my new position? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's really exciting. So for anyone who doesn't know, I recently started up as a concept modeler for Netflix, and it's it's awesome. It's kind of like what I was doing at Disney, except so much cooler, because I also get a little bit more creative input than what I did at Disney. I was actually pretty given a lot of liberty at Disney, which is a huge responsibility and privilege to me. But yeah. So everything with Netflix is going super cool. I am really enjoying. Uh-oh. Time to save, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to. Yeah, so like with the Netflix position, it's kind of twofold. I'm going through and kind of exploring concepts that have already been done. I've done a few concepts of my own, and then I'm also going through and trying to help develop kind of the visual language of what the film could look like. And it's so difficult. It is so difficult, but it is so much fun. It is so much fun. I've been fortunate to be able to work with the art director from Kung Fu Panda on this, as well as a buddy of mine who worked on what's it called, on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Who's the he's currently the what's it called, the franchise art director for the series that I'm working with right now, and it's awesome. I am blown away to be working with the likes of these folks. Such great people. Such great people. Oops. Didn't realize I was moving both sides. Take this and kind of push and pull it just a little bit. I'm trying to avoid moving it a whole lot because I don't want it to look inconsistent with the other side. Okay, and that's one of the things I'm super careful with. Crystal, I'm sculpting right now too and saw you were streaming. Yeah, I decided I needed to kind of jump on for a little bit just to be able to work on this some. But how you doing? I haven't seen you or talked to you in a while. Since these are individual polygroups, I can go through and kind of hide those. Let's go ahead and grab this. Mask that out. Oh yeah. For some reason, I was thinking that I was working with Transpose Master again, and my mind was not catching up, or my whatever. It wasn't keeping up with what my hands were doing, and it was just, I don't know. It was funny. It was funny. Just graduating, got married all within a few weeks, so it's been a bit, oh yeah, it's a busy time. Graduation by itself is busy, getting married by itself is busy, so those two things together, of course, I don't know what it's like in the midst of a pandemic, but busy. In the, I can imagine. She's looking great so far. Thank you so much. Yeah, she's been so much fun, and such a challenge. A very different kind of character than what I stylistically from what I usually do, and so it's been a ton of fun going through and working on her. In fact, I'm going through and like being super kind of crude with the posing. I'm not not doing as good of a job with the posing as I should be, but whatever. Gonna pull that back a little bit. In fact, yeah, so do you have any plans? Is there anything that what are you up to? Did you get anything post graduation yet, or is it just kind of hitting the job boards for now? Which, by the way, is totally normal if that is kind of what's up for right now. It's been one of the craziest things about professional life is just how busy it is, trying to be busy, you know? Interning at a small tech company right now, but I'm actively applying for full-time position. Awesome. Yeah, that's I wish I could have gotten an internship when I was in school. I very badly wanted to, and I had interviewed for like the Pixar Pup program, but apparently I was too advanced or too old or too something. I doubt I was too advanced because but that's what they told me, is that like I was too advanced for what they were looking for, and I was like, okay. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a crazy. That's all. That's all I'll say. Kind of crazy. Yeah. Lots to be excited about. Congratulations, by the way. Both on the both on graduating and getting married. It's a very exciting time. I wouldn't have made it nearly as far as I have if it weren't for my wife and her support. She's truly an amazing support for me. My kids too. Thanks, Crystal. The kids are funny because they're very different in the way that they support or deal with or put up with, different aspects of the career. But yeah, it's funny because Oops. There we go. Because they'll go through times where they're like, yeah, I want to be an artist like Dad, and I want to make certain shows at Netflix, and I want to little things like that, and it's cute, it's fun. Or they'll have times where they'll come and they'll just sit down next to me and watch me work and ask me questions and talk about shows that they're watching and things like that, and that gets really fun. And also, like, I don't know, they're a riot. They're so much fun. Try to be careful when as I pose hands, because hands are so tricky. Yeah, I'm trying to be careful not to lose volume, and also to make sure that my anatomy transitions are following the style that I want, and also that they're following anatomical rule. Prashan, how are you doing, my friend? Dude, haven't seen or heard from. Well, I guess I've heard from you recently too, because I got a message from you the other day. So thanks, Crystal. Yeah, I love clean topology, and so keeping it clean really helps me with so many different things. And I honestly don't know where I would be if I. Okay, so that needs to be bent more. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's getting cranky, and I don't want cranky right now. I'm gonna grab this little loop right here. Let's see. One of the things I keep trying to do is like grab my phone so that I can see kind of like how that pose needs to be. But one of the things that's really tricky to me is that I feel like I have her arm too far forward. Yeah, you know what? Let's do this. Let's save this where it is, just so that we can go ahead and have something to come back to if we need to. And then we'll jump back over into the transpose master. Oh, pardon me. The thing I want to do is I want to move this arm back a little bit more. Let's see, let's go ahead and we will mask that. Mask that. And then with this, what we'll do go ahead and we'll say shrink that up. Just to try to make sure that we are oops. Yeah, let's go ahead, we'll mask that. Control Shift A, invert the mask. There we go. That's a little bit easier than what we were trying to do earlier. Okay, let's grab this and then let's kind of play with our mask just a little bit here. Because one of the things that I feel like is happening, I feel like this thumb is being pushed back too far. I always underestimate posing hands too. They're so complicated. Each finger is its own beast. Like this finger right here, I wanted that to be kind of posed a little bit more differently. So I'll have to see. And give this maybe another 15, 20 minutes and see if we can get what we want out of it. Let me see, what do we have happening here? Kind of smooth that out a little bit. Smooth that out a little bit. Yeah, because like the arm's going through the sleeve. And the hard thing is that I've got to fudge it. I literally have no elbow room. It's funny, like when I was growing up, one of the reasons that I was taught in U.S. history for people immigrating from Europe to the colonies was elbow room. It's such a ridiculous thing. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you know, England and such, you know, were really as crowded as as they're made out to be, I guess. It's just really, really funny that that was one of the reasons that I was given for why people came. I mean, they came for manifest destiny, and they came for, you know, to kind of, you know, claim territory, and the whole series of U.S. history is just rubbish. There's some good things that happened, but it's a lot of rubbish. I won't talk about it too much because it really does kind of fire me up some. And I know that it could very easily fire up a bunch of other people as well, so okay, make sure that's all unmasked. That's looking much better. You know what, I'm going to undo that. Oops. Undo that just a little bit. through and try to refine this hand pose just a little bit before I take it over into the main file. Like what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get that feeling of fleshiness from the finger, but also trying to make sure that it feels like there's that bone structure underneath. That feels pretty good. I mean, the thumb still needs some work, but you know, that might be something that we just wait to do. Yeah, we got it a little bit of the ways. Just kind of take it and turn it out just a little bit there. That feels pretty good. Okay, cool. They come for that elbow space. Before the industrial age, horse poop in London was a big problem. I can believe that. I can believe that. Oh. T-pose to sub T. Let's watch that hand kind of shrink, not shrink, but slide down a little bit. Not too much longer now. It's one of the most fun things to me is to go through and kind of watch the those different subtools accommodate the changes that you've made. Oh man, I don't know if you guys have watched it at all, but I just finished watching Miraculous Ladybug, and it drove me nuts the way that it left off. I'm sure nobody cares, but you know, it's one of those things that I care. Oh, hey, look at how terrible that turned out. Holy crap. Wow. Let's fix that a little bit. In fact, let's undo that altogether. Get that to rotate more in the right direction. Because that was all twisted. Yeah. It's interesting too. I mean, I've heard a lot of kind of cool ideas lately. Yeah, I won't bother with that. It's political and it isn't. Because there are so many people that would disagree, and I know of a few friends of mine that would definitely disagree. But whatever. In fact, I know family members that would disagree. So I'm not going to bother. Speaking of not bothering, have you guys watched the new Mighty Ducks series on Disney Plus? Proud of them ducks. Yeah, I thought it was super fun. It was a very comical watch. It's a pretty good family watch too. It's one of those things that I could watch with my kids, and hopefully they'd come out of it with some some inspiration on how to be better individuals, better people, how to treat people better. Because, oh boy, people got nasty. See, 6:48. Getting close to time on this. I have no idea what the kids are watching downstairs. It sounds a slight bit more threatening than teenagers playing hockey. Okay, so I'm trying to keep an eye on this as I go, because I want to make sure that this is doing what I want it to do. Yeah, that pinky's gonna have to come out. This, here, let's do this. This middle finger's gonna have to come out just a little bit too. In a different way, but you know. Oh, they're listening to Ladybug. But I do hope that they will make new episodes of of Miraculous, because I think they left it off at too much of an open point, you know. Let's go through and kind of puff that up. Let's see if I can finish this hand here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I doubt it, but you know, we'll see. Sometimes you get lucky on the first movement, and sometimes you don't. It's like, the thing is that like, think her hands are bigger than they ought to be, or that sword is not as broad as I want it to be. Or her hands don't seem big to me, so here we go. I think I've got an idea. It's gonna take this. We'll just kind of pull this out just a little bit. Oops. Whoops, 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 whoops. Her fingers do feel super long though. Here's what we're gonna do, because this is a little bit out of control. Do something like that. I was losing track of one of the things that I should have done before starting the posing, just period, and something that I noticed pretty heavily when I was posing the hand that's gripping the sword hilt, is that there was quite a big, like I didn't define my knuckles well enough. And I should have definitely put more attention into defining those knuckles, because I ended up having to guess quite a bit. And so then I was running into the struggle that I'm running into now, which is making sure that I have the right proportions in the fingers, because this is ridiculous. This is so hard to deal with if I'm having to kind of remake the fingers and their shapes and everything like that. It's just a lot. Let's say something like that. Okay, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here is the end of that knuckle. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of sharpen that up just a little bit. I'm going to try to check proportions a little bit here too, just to make sure that it's not too, make sure this isn't too long, because the longest finger is this middle one, and I need to make sure that that is reflected in the pose. 1, 2, 3, 4. let's go ahead. I'm going to rotate this just a little bit. Pull it up. This is getting super difficult. Don't put that in your mouth. Ugh. Ugh. Do you ever purely sculpt without thinking about topology and then retopologize at the end? Yeah, sometimes. But I love topology. And so it's like, it's one of those things where because I know how beneficial it is to work with clean topology, it's like it's one of those kind of preventative things, I guess, where I work with the topology because I know how much time it's going to save me. But yeah, it's kind of a crazy thing to judge, because sometimes, like for instance, some of the things that I do for work, I won't use topology at all. Sometimes it's purely just for the concept of it. Other times, yeah, especially if I'm doing something like for environments, or if it's something where it's like I don't have a complete idea of what it is I'm trying to accomplish. Yeah, that'll work for the most part. But yeah, or also if there's like something that I'm doing just for fun, then I'll go through and I'll often use just sculpting, just Dynamesh and play. But it really kind of depends on what my end result is. Oops. Go ahead and kind of pull that finger away from the rest of the fingers here. Let's do something kind of like that. All right. There we go. I'll have to. I eat topology for breakfast. That needs to be a t-shirt. We're doing it. And then maybe I'll go ahead and I'll make it like a Patreon reward or whatever. Be like a one-time gift or something. Do you like to do traditional sculpting too, like with clay? Absolutely. See if I can. I need to be able to see my camera so that I can see what it is I'm showing you guys. So the skull was done in ZBrush and 3D printed, but it fell, and you could see like it broke its front teeth. So it reminded me of Dustin from Stranger Things. So I went ahead and I added or started adding the hair and the hat. The idea is to go through and finish it out and mold and cast it and whatever. And it's just a funny little idea. Get him some pearly whites. Yeah, I mostly use Super Sculpey. Yeah, it's it's just fun. I either use like the default gray, or I have like a flesh tone, like the dusty pink, peach, whatever. Oh, it is such a relief to start to see this come together like this. Now, okay, a couple of things that I'm thinking about doing. I want to add a cape that's going to kind of come out from behind her, and probably billow out on both sides. More so on this back side than on the other side. But yeah, that's coming along. I've got the here. Let's stab it. There we go. So I've got the this undershirt piece here. It's got all of its surface detail added in, so I should be able to bake this out and have some good surface detail there, getting the weave, getting the cloth look there. I got some of this here that I got to worry about too. Here, let me see. Let's grab it this way.